There are some things that you get told so many times that they become fact in your mind. This is one of them. It's that people who do hard things, the ones who take the leap, or have the difficult conversations, or start the thing, they are doing it because they feel confident, because something inside them is sure. And so you have been waiting. You wait and wait until you actually feel ready. You are waiting until the doubt quiets down. You wait for the confidence to arrive. But here is the key thing that nobody tells you. The confidence doesn't come first, and it never does. Welcome to Perspectus, a channel where we break down ideas, concepts, and moments from history, with the aim to think sharper, see clearer, and maybe reshape perspective. More importantly, we're aiming to build a community of people committed to growth, perspective, and understanding. If that's you, you're in the right place. We've all grown up in a culture absolutely obsessed with confidence. You build it, project it. Some say fake it until you make it. And the implication threaded through all of this is that confidence is the prerequisite, the thing that you need to have before you can do anything worthwhile. But there's a distinction hiding in plain sight that most people miss. And once you see it, you can't not. Confidence and courage are not the same thing. They don't even work the same way. One is a feeling and the other a decision. And we've been training for the feeling when what actually changes lives is the decision itself. So, what have we mixed up? Aristotle thought carefully about what courage actually was. In the book Nicomachean Ethics, which actually refers to the greatness of soul, this was one of the most sustained attempts to understand what it means to live well. He managed to make a distinction that we've almost forgotten. Confidence, he said, is not a virtue. It's an emotional state. It is something that happens to you, shaped by experience, by past success, by the particular way that your nervous system has learned to read a situation. You can have more of it or less of it, depending on the day, the context, or the stakes. Courage, however, is different. Courage is a virtue, a habitual way of acting in relation to fear. And critically, it involves fear. The courageous person, for Aristotle, isn't the one who doesn't feel afraid. It's the one who feels afraid in the right proportion about the right things and acts anyway. Most of the time, for reasons that matter. He called this the kalon. This represented the noble, or the fine, the beautiful. What he was pointing at is that confidence and courage aren't opposites on a spectrum. They're categorically different things. Confidence is about how you feel. Courage is about what you choose. And the person who acts when they feel confident has never actually been tested. Instead, they're performing in conditions they already know they can handle. We've spent decades confusing the two, and it's costing us a lot more than we might realize. There is an entire industry built on the assumption that confidence is the bottleneck. Read more self-help books, go to more leadership programs, practice more affirmations, stand upright, hold your posture. And these will be the keys to unlock the confidence. You were told this time and time again. But the research has quietly undermined this from multiple directions. Studies show there's only around about a 9% overlap between confidence and competence. This is how good a person thinks they are in comparison to how good they actually are. This means the confident person in the room is not reliably the most capable one. It also means that programs designed to boost confidence don't necessarily produce better results. Instead, they produce people who feel better about their current abilities, and this is not the same thing. Amy Cuddy at Harvard found roughly 80% of people experience imposter syndrome at some point. This is the nagging sense that they're about to be found out, that they don't deserve to be in a situation that they are in. The advice she eventually landed on wasn't just become more confident. Instead, it was something closer to presence. You should act in alignment with your values rather than waiting to feel certain. That's not a confidence argument. That's a courage argument. Here's what the psychology of procrastination tells us. When waiting for confidence before acting, it is one of the most reliable ways to actually destroy confidence. Instead, confidence is built through action and feedback. Every time we delay acting because we don't feel ready, we actually confirm to ourselves, neurologically and behaviorally, that the situation is one that we can't handle. Essentially, we're rehearsing inadequacy, and the longer we wait, the more we build the case against ourselves. Imperfect action builds confidence. Waiting simply destroys it. Most of us have experienced this, even if we haven't named it. The conversation we kept putting off because we didn't feel ready, that got harder. It didn't get easier. The longer you leave it, the harder it becomes. The longer you look at the thing that you're not doing, the larger it grows. The culture sold us the wrong sequence. We've been trying to manufacture the feeling first when the feeling is actually a downstream consequence of direct action. On the 1st of December 1955, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus to a white passenger. She was not by her own account brimming with certainty that day. She described being tired of giving in. She wasn't performing an act of supreme self-belief. Instead, she was choosing something in alignment with conviction, a conviction that she had held onto for years. There was nothing to do but keep going, she said. Now that isn't confidence, it's courage. Those are two different things. When Nelson Mandela walked out of prison after 27 years, he left with something he'd articulated clearly long before: courage. He said, "It's not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear." He didn't say the brave person is the confident one. He said the brave person is the one who acts despite fear. The fear is assumed. The courage is a response. Rachel Carson was a shy, introverted woman who wrote Silent Spring. This was the book that effectively launched the modern environmental movement. She did this all while fighting cancer that would unfortunately get the better of her the following year. She was going up against the entire American chemical industry, against critics who dismissed her as a hysterical woman. She had every reason to doubt herself. She wrote the book anyway, not because she felt invincible, because she believed the world needed to know what she had found. None of these people were waiting on confidence. They were doing something much harder, much more specific. They were choosing to act from their values when everything in them might have preferred not to. That's the distinction that keeps getting lost. Confidence is nice when you have it. Courage works without it. So, what does an actual sequence look like? Here's the thing about confidence that makes it all click into one place. Confidence is built from experience. This could be practice, feedback, past wins. They are all repeated attempts that gradually teach your nervous system that a situation is in fact manageable. This is well understood. It's why exposure therapy works so well, and it's why skills compound, or why the person who's done something 50 times is calmer than the 50 first-timers. But to get the experience, you have to attempt the thing first. You cannot acquire feedback before you've made the attempt. You cannot have the past wins before the first try. This means, by definition, the confidence that you're waiting for cannot exist yet when you feel like you need it most. Courage is the bridge. It is structurally what you use in the gap between no experience and first experience, between the person you are now and the person you'd like to be in the future. We've had this the wrong way round our entire lives. The sequence isn't get the confidence, then you act. Instead, the sequence is act, then slowly, imperfectly, over time, the confidence flows. Most of us already know this somewhere in our brains. We can look back and name things that we were terrified of that we now believe to be ordinary. The first time driving on a motorway is a great example, or many people struggle with this, the first time speaking in front of a room. We didn't feel ready for either of those things, but we became ready by doing them. The only reason we forget this is that the moment before the next hard thing, it never feels like evidence. It always feels like this time will be different. This time, the gap really is too wide. In reality, it's not. The gap is just the place where courage is required. Ultimately, it requires you to make the decision and not wait for the feeling. Aristotle's great contribution to this conversation is the idea that virtue is habitual. Courage isn't something you either have or you don't. It is something you practice. Specifically, you practice choosing to act when fear is present until that choosing becomes natural. This means waiting for confidence is, in a very real sense, practicing the wrong thing. Every time we defer to the feeling, every time we tell ourselves we'll do it when we feel ready, we are practicing the habit of not acting. And every time we act before we feel ready, we are practicing courage. We are instead building the habit of moving despite the discomfort. And in doing so, we are eventually, incrementally, building the conditions to which confidence can actually thrive. The door is there. The feeling you are waiting for may never arrive, but the decision is always available right now. Confidence is what you might feel someday, on the other side. However, courage is what gets you through the door. If you found value in this, make sure to like and subscribe to join the Perspectus community. We're looking to build a meaningful community, and I'd like to hear your perspective, so drop it in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.